Well, Coach, we want to thank you for coming by to talk to us here on the Lair, as we're calling our new Westminster football show.
I like it.
And we want to ask you a couple of questions. I know there are a lot of people out there who don't really know kind of how much work goes into preparing not just for a game but for a season. And so while most of us have been doing other things for the last 8 months between the end of last season, you've had your sights set on this season. Give us an idea of what the off season's like for a coach.
Yeah, well, our off season really runs from January through May. We consider our season to start in June because of camps, and so we have to be ready to roll by then. So starting in January, we start meeting weekly, talk about personnel, talk about scheme, prepare for camp in June, talk about camp in July, and just make sure everything's ready to go. We take some visits to colleges. You know, Coach Peterson and I went to visit Pittsburgh State and Kansas this year. We go to a clinic at the end of February, beginning of March, where we make connections with schools. Coach Snyder and I met a defensive coordinator from Indianapolis a couple years ago, and that's kind of where we picked up our defense that we installed. And so just a lot of development, personal development, professional development, but also preparation for the team in the summer.
So if the season ends in November and the off season starts in January, it's pretty much a whole year experience.
Yeah, it really is. You know, we give the kids from the end of the season through Christmas off, and then if they're not playing a winter sport, a spring sport, we kind of expect them to be in the weight room starting that first week of January, and the coaches are in there as well too. So it gets rolling pretty quick.
Well, the last 2 years, the team's been pretty successful. To have 2 straight years where the team advances to the state quarterfinals is an achievement. So first of all, congratulations on that. But I was also wondering, having done that now the last 2 years as you get ready for this year, are there lessons you learn about playoff football and getting ready for it and all that? What kind of things have you taken away from those 2 playoff runs that could maybe be applied to this year as you look forward to hopefully another deep run in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we won our 4th district championship in our program this past season, made the quarterfinals for the 2nd straight year, and I think the biggest thing for the kids that come back from that experience that didn't graduate is just having been there and not that winning a district championship isn't a great accomplishment and not something that we strive for and are really happy about, but it doesn't become the end all of the season. It doesn't become, okay, we reached our goal and now what? I mean, the kids want to win a district championship and they want to advance farther in the playoffs, and I think that's the biggest motivator for the team. And you know, I talked with our players in July and in June that this class of seniors has been the most successful class to go through Westminster. They've never experienced a losing season.
Wow.
Their worst season was 8-3, and that's a great way to come through a program. But it's also an obstacle that you have to be aware of because you just kind of assume that's a right, and
You can't take success for granted.
Right, you have to work for it, and so it's good in those types of ways.
So speaking of this class, right, it's their last year. As you look at this season, what gets you excited about this team? Maybe what makes you nervous or about the year? I mean, what keeps you up at night? What gets you really excited to get it started in 3 weeks?
Yeah, offensively, we're basically bringing back 10 starters. Our whole offensive line at one point started last year. All of our skill kids are back, receivers and running backs with the exception of the quarterback. We have a senior that's going to step in there, I think, and do a pretty good job. So offensively, we should be able to hit the ground running pretty quickly. Defensively, we have some key people to replace. Justin Creighton on the offensive line and Michael Weston and Caleb Miller at outside linebacker. Basically, our whole defensive line is going to be new this year, and so we have linebackers and safeties that are coming back, but it'll be a new face on defense, and so they're going to have to gel quickly.
I'm sure we'll talk about this in an upcoming episode of the Lair. We're talking about the defense. Last year's defense set records for the school for fewest points allowed in a season, fewest yards allowed. So it was a very successful defense, and there's a lot of turnovers. So I can see that that's a big challenge. When it comes to your goal for this year, when you stand at the beginning of a season trying to set realistic expectations, but also set something that the kids can aspire to, in your mind, what's the goal, and how much of the goal do you talk about publicly? And maybe that's a hard question since we're on camera, but what do you want for the season this year?
You know, I'm kind of a process guy, and I think when you achieve your goals, it's really a result of going through the process. And so when we set goals as a coaching staff or as a team, we set them so that we know what the process has to look like, not necessarily for the attainment of that goal. And so Obviously, we have goals like, winning the conference and winning the district and the state championship. But all of those things are the results of what you do throughout the season, throughout the week, throughout the preseason and the off season. And so we talk to our kids a lot about the process of things and how to go about preparing like a champion so that you have the opportunity to be a champion. And that's really where we focus. And so, like I said, we have those tangible goals. But for me, we just want this team to be the best team that they can be. Every year is a new team. This team hasn't accomplished anything yet. We haven't won a game. We haven't played a game. And so they have to understand that, and they have to understand that it's there for them to earn. They have to earn the right for the opportunity to achieve those goals.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for stopping by and talking to us about kind of your role in the team, and we're looking forward to a great year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Thanks.
Thank you.